What's going on YouTube? What's going on my people? I'm your OG and we're going to talk about this young lady in church today. She went to church, pregnant, and this old Pentecost or Baptist preacher, it appears, made her feel so bad that she went before the congregation and apologized for getting pregnant. And social media is tearing this old man pastor down. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about where we came from and what is he basing this on and where we are today. This is by no means throwing no women under the bus or a young lady. I am from that traditional era. I just want to give y'all a little insight on where this energy may have been coming from. Before I do, y'all hit that like button. If you're going to comment, respectfully comment. And if you ain't already hit that subscribe and notification button, you best, because ain't number 5 coming from behind this table. Number 5. Let's get into it. I want to first take this time to say I grew up in the church. We were migrants. We were the opposite. We went from the south to the north, from the north. A lot of y'all understand what we mean. I've been to a lot of churches growing up. Pentecost, Baptist, Kojic, different faiths down south. But they had one common rule in the church. And I'm not making excuses. And I will give y'all my personal opinion on how he handled it. But this is what he based it on. Believe it or not, y'all, there was a time ago, not too long ago, that we didn't celebrate unwanted pregnancies. I hate to inform y'all, and I know y'all don't know because a lot of y'all grandmothers are nothing but 40 years old. Y'all big mama ain't but 50 years old. That's changed the game right there. Y'all grandfather is only 42 years old. So y'all missing a lot. I'm going to try and break it down to you. There was a time, if you get pregnant, there was no announcement. It was forbidden, y'all, in the black community. It was a shame. And I'm going to tell y'all why. It was one of the worst things they felt that a young lady could do. And it wasn't embraced. There were no gifts. There was a trip. They were going to send your tail to Milwaukee or Detroit or wherever they needed to be to save themselves, their family, and their pastor the embarrassment. So I understand y'all upset. But understand his mentality, to him, what he did is normal for his time. But disrespectful in our time. I'm going to say that again. Why are we throwing pastor under the bus? He's going by old, traditional, black, family, Christian rules. Whether y'all like that or not, my big mama was a Bible thumping, buy the book and will quote you every scripture. And if you were a little man or little woman, you were gonna abide mostly by the teachings of the Old Testament. Meaning, if your eye bothers you, pluck it out. Family was built on tradition back then. Families were built on legitimacy. See, and that's what y'all missing, legitimacy. Y'all have to understand that it was a hardship for a woman to have a baby back then without a husband. See, women back then were able to admit that the world is not fair or equal when it comes to genders. Black women had the knowledge to know that it is so much easier with a man and children than without. And so when you are taught that, and that was put in you from day one. Y'all gotta understand, this was put in the kids from day one out the womb of the do's and don'ts of the word and the principles of your black family that you cannot do. And we knew the consequences. In my generation, that young lady in my mama's generation knew if we were down south and she got pregnant, she was gonna get on that train or that bus headed to Chicago. Because that's why our people migrated from the south to Chicago. Now, before y'all get in these comments and say, well, that don't make it right, that don't make it wrong neither. I'm going to discuss the pastor. Because I'm not no fan of embarrassing. I'm not no fan of humiliation. And my higher power says that that's not the way you go about doing things. That's not the way you talk to the younger generation. There's no connect. We've lost a whole 2 generations in between this old pastor and this young lady. And even though she probably went to church and Bible study 3, 4, 5 times a week, pastor never had enough love. There wasn't enough mothers in the city. I'm going to tell you something about the church. Today's church, they are so good to stone you, but they ain't got no resources to help you. I'm going to say that again. The old black churches that's been in the community for 100 years that they always bragging on, the only services that they got available as of right now is for the pastor and the first lady. They ain't got nothing for the young girls. They ain't got nothing for the young boys. And they've had a building fund for 50 years and ain't been a nail bought. Now that goes back to the topic. Pastor is wrong. There's no way that could be acceptable, the embarrassment and the shame. That is not why we are here. I am an OG. I must embrace my youngsters. I know they make a lot of mistakes, but I am not on this platform to tear down, embarrass, and hurt. But you young ladies need to know that everybody's not happy with you popping that cake. Listen. The reason why they were so strict, the reason why they had zero tolerance, and I want y'all to listen to me, to a young girl having a child out of wedlock was solely because of support. Black families were poor. They were barely making ends meet. And everybody accepted the responsibility of the black family in poverty, and nobody did anything to make it worse, including the little girls that grew into young ladies. Their position in life were, if they met a boyfriend, he had to come knocking on the door, courting. There wasn't no pop-up pregnancies. If by chance your daughter that you allowed to see a boy, if she came up pregnant, her father was at your doorstep with his shotgun. Just that simple. It wasn't he had to go and knock on 3 or 4 doors. But y'all ain't mad about that rule. I'm just letting y'all know that this old black man is from a totally different generation. I don't know anything about his pastoral duties to call him a hypocrite. But I know where he's coming from. As an OG, I know what he meant. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have a lot of nieces. And a lot of them are not married, and I love them. And I also have granddaughters. And if one of my, God forbid, if one of my young, under the age of 18 granddaughters got pregnant, will I shun and embarrass her? No. Would I do everything I can to make sure her and my great-grandchild is well and kept? Yes. But would I be happy about the hardship upon me and her mother and her father? No. Somebody's got to allow y'all the opportunity to see how messed up it is. Y'all are bringing these children into this world. ill prepared. And y'all don't want nobody to tell y'all it's not a celebration. Yes, Pastor was wrong, but he, in a way, saw a lot of the things that he said was right. We are not, so I've never attended a baby shower. And I've always said the same thing that this pastor said, is nothing to celebrate. I'm not finna go, I'm from a generation where men didn't attend wives' baby showers anyway. In my generation, only wives had baby showers. I'm just telling y'all the truth. This is not for y'all to jump in the comments and judge me, but a lot of y'all big mamas and granddaddies are too young to even know or remember black culture from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and early 2000s. Your granddaddy is not but 42. Your grandmama's 40. And honestly, grandmama got 3 kids out of wedlock. That might have been the reason why. And your father got kids across town out of wedlock. Maybe that's why you thought it was okay. I don't know. Maybe the boy you were with was just that cool and calm and convincing. I don't know. It happens though. Young girls do have unwanted pregnancies. The only thing I'm saying this morning is before we tie Pastor up by his ankles and keep going up on his church, shouldn't we have this conversation on where this energy came from? Should we have the conversation about all these rules that he talking about to abide in for life new? No, y'all, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm telling y'all now, this is how it went, not 30 years ago. Down south, I know. 25, 30 years ago, there were not no announcement or celebration of no pregnancy unless you were married. If you were walking around in the congregation pregnant, they had an expectation that your husband was either overseas, somewhere at work, and y'all were right because that's where their faith lied. Y'all got to remember that this is an old man that's going off of principles that he received, his teachings in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Come on, y'all. Who's wrong? At the very least, I hope that the young lady don't allow it to get her down. She shed that shame and that embarrassment or whatever she felt, and she actually realizes that, you know what, he meant well, it hurt, but I needed to be shocked out of this easy breezy, oh, I'm pregnant, and it's just, it used to take a village to raise a child. But what the people online is not gonna tell you, young lady, is that when that baby crying at 3 o'clock in the morning and you still gotta go to school or work, you gotta get up. What the pastor tell you, when you go in that box of Pampers and it ain't but one in there, and the baby got a stomach virus, and if you ain't got the money or no help, it's a problem. The same with food. And now we are bringing children into a Trump world where older white Republicans do not believe in any entitlements under these circumstances. I say, I'm not siding with the pastor. I wish, listen, and I'm going to say this, and I am not an atheist or antagonist when it comes to religion or church. But I'm going to leave y'all with this. This riddle. When you go to the hood, what's on every block that's supposed to be significant, supposed to be an asset, that's a money-making business in the black community, that's open 3 or 4 times a week, supposed to be helping people, but they not. What type of business is that? It's on every block in the hood. No, I'm not talking about an Arab or Chinaman store. What building has been in our community for the last 100 years and hadn't made a significant change in it. And I say they on the same street that a lot of this stuff is happening. A lot of the unalived, a lot of the pew, a lot of the aggravated, and all that stuff is happening right next door to their house. So yeah, this ain't a pro preacher video. I'm OG. I know a lot of y'all trust me. And I know a lot of y'all disagree with me. But my point today is to ask yourself, what did the pastor say wrong that black people were taught 30 years ago? What did pastor say wrong that the average 50-year-old woman had not heard that was raised up in church? Go before y'all stone him and keep going to that church harassing him. Go next door to the other church and see ain't that the same rules. See, through intimidation and popularity, the pulpit watered down messages. They watered down the messages on how the pastor should behave. They watered down how the first lady should behave in their songs. We got guys up in there singing, dancing, and twisting in the choir. The assistant pastor coming up on Sunday morning after being out with the people in the pulpit Saturday night. Yes, I get what y'all saying, that according to the way churches are being upheld and ran in our communities, I understand y'all anger. And I'm not talking about his foolishness, because I guarantee you, they don't have nan daycare in place for to help the single mother. I guarantee you they take up good money. They don't have no clothes closet for the school-age children or the young lady that's going to school embarrassed. They don't even have personal hygiene stuff because their mamas ain't buying them the stuff they need. So you know what? If you don't want a young lady to come up, knocked up and tore up, then I suggest that you, be as a man, be like me. Make sure all your young women folks got your number. And you let your grandchildren and you let your daughters know that no, I ain't got much. But before you X, Y, and Z, you call daddy. You call granddaddy. We can do this. We're not going to compound one mistake with mistaken behavior on the ongoing. These are not new rules, y'all. I'm sorry. I know she was hurt. I know she was embarrassed. But somebody got to come on this platform and tell the truth. What he said, y'all consider inappropriate and wrong, but I heard it just about every Sunday. It was not allowed. Black families stood on, you will not be out here giving away your goodies and having children for you to struggle to take care of. Or me. See, it was real not 30 years ago. Because if they found out you was somewhere secretly laying up with their daughter, daddy was coming for you. Big brother was coming for you. Uncle was coming for you. And you was going to legitimize that young girl or y'all were done. Yeah. Grateful to be here, y'all. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. We can talk about it. Don't jump in my comments with the mess, because I'm going to jump back in the comments with the mess. We need to talk about this. How many of y'all grew up in the church? How many of y'all grew, I don't know about, because we wasn't a church family when I stayed on the west side of Chicago. We were going to a white church with one of my mama's co-workers. I think it was First Assembly of God. It wasn't until I got my taste of the old school black Pentecost Baptist type church till we moved down south. And you did not see what you see now. Even with the dress code, you did not see cleavage. A black woman dare not wear a dress or a skirt above her knees. She did not wear a dress or a skirt that would compact or would compress with her hips. Wasn't no form fit, nothing. Women were exact when they went to worship. Now, if a man turn around and say, that's inappropriate, y'all offended and mad again. I'm trying to stop y'all from being so mad, help y'all remember. They used to do that too. The mothers, the head ushers, if you came in there with too much cleavage or the wrong blouse with your little headlights hard, they didn't play that. They didn't play that, ladies. See, y'all don't want to be told nothing, and we broke basic rules. And now when somebody brings up something that we were successful at, like keeping the birth rate down for unwanted pregnancies, because I'm sorry, y'all, they would label your children a bastard. I've been told y'all that way before this happened. I read it down to y'all. I'm saying, listen, y'all, in my generation, if you are a young lady and got a baby, the family loved you, but that child was labeled a bastard. That's the truth. Hey, I don't care how good a girl you turned out to be. I don't care what. If you had a child without a husband, not a man, not a boyfriend, without a husband, in the black family, 30 years ago, down south now, I don't know what, it wasn't embraced and it was talked about. My thing is, I know that pastor, particularly an average pastor, is not qualified to criticize nobody out there in the congregation. I don't. These new modern pastors ain't right, y'all. And age ain't got nothing to do with it. No, you do not tell. That's why I don't like how Charleston White and the rest of them put out this information about young people. Give young people the opportunity. And if you got to come for them and criticize them and tell them they screwing up, tell them why. Somebody tell that young lady, listen, I know it hurt. I know it was embarrassing, young lady. But it's the truth of where we came from as a black family. The black family came from zero tolerance of bastard children. They did. I'm sorry. You would have to leave in the middle of the night, head to Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit. If you stayed here, down south, and got pregnant, you was not going to talk about her embarrassing. Your father and mother weren't going to let you embarrass them because you got hot in the ass. Y'all talking about her embarrassment, but they would ship you away because they were not going to allow themselves to be embarrassed because you laying right here and let a boy trick you out some cat. That's all I'm saying. I'm out.